Hey everyone, this is Teresa with Jeremiah Dreams, bringing a new project as part of our collaborative event, All Things Fall. And I am beginning with an 8x10 canvas board. I love buying these from Amazon in bulk. And I like to tape off my edges about 1/8 of an inch to 1/2 an inch and just prep my board with gesso, being sure to get over those edges of the tape and seal that in well so that once my piece is finished, I'll have a nice crisp edge. So I have this idea, and it's going to be a fall project, even though I am sketching in a mountain here and beginning to lay in some sky, making it darker at the very top, and then I'm just going to ombre in gradient colors and blending them one to the other so that as I come down closer to the mountain, my blue is lighter. And after I get a nice blend, I'm going to start kind of just freely laying in some clouds, just kind of putting the paint down to give me an idea of how I want to place my clouds. And then I'll take a dry brush and kind of feather out the edges just so that the clouds feel a little more airy. And then I come back in with some blue gray and give a little bit of depth and detail to those clouds. And then I take some dark gray and kind of re-sketch my mountain. And as I lay in that line, I'm coming back with a dry brush and just pulling that extra paint out toward the center and begin to layer in all the different levels of a mountain range. And the reason I chose to begin with a mountain range is lately I've been watching a lot of documentaries and movies about Mount Everest and people who have attempted to climb Mount Everest. And it's incredible to me all the thousands, tens of thousands of dollars people will pay to climb that mountain. And it's not a mountain that can be climbed in one day. It is a process because of the elevation. And so there are about 4 different camps that you have to climb to and allow your body to acclimate to that elevation. And it's interesting to me that they have to stay there for that period of time to allow, stay there for 2 or 3 days to let their body acclimate. And then once they finally get on that final trek up to the summit, there is a section called Rainbow Valley. And the Rainbow Valley is where many climbers, and the count is like 200 or 300 climbers, that will tackle the mountain and they lose their lives. And because it's too dangerous to bring their bodies back down, they are left as reminders that this is a relentless, difficult journey that will claim its own. It just amazes me. And as I watch the documentaries and the different climbers pursuing that summit, I thought about a passage of scripture that I read not long ago in one of my daily devotionals. And I was reading from Judges, and it was all about Gideon and him fighting on behalf of the Lord and being used to defeat many of the tribes and people around there. And he had quite an army at his disposal. And the Lord told him not to take all of those men with him into battle. And it just seemed like what God was asking was impossible because they were getting ready to fight a war that was going to take every man. Well, he started out with like 22,000 and it got pared down to about 10, and then God told him to go take the men down to the river and he's going to test them. And he said that if they were to drink their water, just put their face in the water and just lap the water up to disclude them, to remove them from the army. But if they cup their hands together and bring it to their face to drink, those are the men that will be chosen. And by the time all of that testing was done, he was left with 300 men that they were going to pursue the Midianites with. And as I continued reading, I came across this interesting verse, interesting to me, that Gideon came to the Jordan and crossed over, he and the 300 men who were with him, exhausted yet pursuing. And I thought about not only what they must have been feeling and what they were up against and the amount of faith they had to have to be utterly exhausted yet pursuing. And I thought about these people that try to climb Mount Everest, and they are utterly exhausted. They are so exhausted, their bodies are exhausted, their mentality is exhausted, and they're fighting thin oxygen, and they're having to pack oxygen tanks just to survive the journey. And I think about our own lives. Aren't we exhausted? Are you exhausted? I know I am so many times. And I have to pursue because God has placed me where I am for now. And the battles I face may not be a Midianite tribe or army, but my battles are real. Aren't yours? They sure are. There's no doubt about it. And the things that we battle are not only the finances, the health, the time, the demands on our lives, in our jobs, but the demands on us just seem endless. And we have to keep pursuing to survive, to thrive. But I don't want my pursuing to be just for my own self, because that just leads to more exhaustion. But I want my pursuing to be in the things that I should be pursuing, the things that are worth pursuing. And to be quite honest with you, that is pursuing what God has brought me to, brought me through, and called me to. And I have to remember, and this is so hard, y'all, I'm preaching to myself as much as anyone else. But as much as He has called me to something, He's going to equip me for that thing. He's going to give me the oxygen that I need to go to the summit. He's going to give me the extra clothing that I'm going to need to weather the snowstorms and the ice storms and the horrible wind, the flesh-cutting wind that's going to come against me. And He's going to give me a guide in the Holy Spirit that's going to lead me through the best possible path to the summit. And there's going to be days that it's going to feel like I'm not even going to make it. I'm not going to reach the summit. I know I've recently experienced that. And I just had to just allow myself to weep from exhaustion, not only physical, but mental and emotional too. And that's okay. It's okay to weep. We are humans. We have to remember we are weak, but He is strong. And so we have to press on, being exhausted, yet pursuing the thing He has called us to. I hope that resonates with someone in me sharing that, because I know that's been a whole lot of what I've been feeling and experiencing lately. And I don't want to live in defeat. You know, the enemy would have us to just feel so discouraged and just thinking and feeling that it's worthless, that there's no hope, that we're just spinning our wheels, we're trudging through mud, all the things that just defeat us, make us feel defeated, and make us just want to just sit down and just not try. But y'all, we have to remember what all of this is really about. It's really about the kingdom of the Lord. And it's really about what He wants to accomplish through us. So we have to keep pursuing, even though we may be exhausted. So I want to encourage you that when you feel exhausted, but you've got to keep pursuing, take time. Take time to rest. Take time to be kind to yourself. Take time to read or go for a walk or just step outside and breathe fresh air. You know, we get so caught up in the things that we have to get done, and we're just so busy in this life. But we really do need to slow down and take the time to trim our rose bushes and take the time to play with our grandchildren. Take the time to clean our house. Boy, is that one that I struggle with because I am so busy. But if we don't take the time, we're never going to reach our goals. And I look at this mountain range, and it, from a distance, it's just beautiful, and you're just reminded of God's creation and how majestic He is and magnificent He is in all of His beauty in the world that He created for us to enjoy. But from a distance, it looks beautiful, and it doesn't look to me like anything that I want to pursue. I'm quite content standing back here and just gazing upon its majesty. But then there's people that they feel absolutely called, like they know that they cannot live, they cannot breathe unless they try to climb that mountain. And so if you and I were to try to climb that mountain without training, without proper preparation, we wouldn't survive. We might not even make it to the first camp because you can't drive there either. I think, well, you may be able to drive to the first camp, but the other camps after that, up Mount Everest, no, you have to climb your way there. And if we didn't take the time to prepare and train and get our mind and body and all the things ready, we wouldn't survive. But if we do take the time to pursue what He has for us, He will equip us. He will give us all the things that we need to complete the task. And there's going to be times in this, just like there's times in this journey that we're traveling here on this earth, we just want to give up. But we can't, because He's got a higher purpose. You know, many years ago, well, not many years ago, but several years ago, I was going through something really hard, a really hard thing for me, kind of like climbing a mountain. And I was very heartbroken, very frustrated. And I remember that it was a Sunday morning, and I was getting ready to go to church to serve the Lord in my local church, to play the piano. And I was frustrated with God about a situation I found myself in, and it was nothing of my fault, but there I was. And I had heard some news that hurt, given the situation I was in, and I just let the Lord know exactly how I felt about it. And I just said, you know, I didn't cause this, I didn't ask for this, I didn't create this, but here I am, all alone to face all the things. And they are getting to enjoy life, and I am not happy about it. And God, I need you, and I'm just really kind of mad at you too. And the Lord clearly said to me, but I have called you to more. And when I heard that inner voice of His Spirit speak to my soul, I just knew that it was going to be okay, but I had no idea how. And so to this day, years later, I'm still wondering, what is the more? I'm still looking for it. So be encouraged, my friend. We're all struggling. We all have these difficult journeys that we're facing, and they are not all the same. They could be similar, but each of our circumstances is different. And we just have to remember that even though we feel very alone in what we're facing, we are not. The Lord has promised to never leave us or forsake us. He has promised that all things are new and joy comes in the morning. Y'all, I couldn't survive if it weren't for the word of the Lord and taking time to seek Him in His word, to hear His whispers, to hear that still small voice, to encourage my heart. So be encouraged. You're not alone. The struggle you're facing may not be like mine, but I have my struggles too, and the feelings may be very much the same. But He's got us, and He's going to carry us through, because His is the victory. The battle is His, and He's going to equip us to get to the summit that He has in store for us, and we just have to trust. I hope this has encouraged you as you watch me paint this scene. I was, when I sit down to paint, I never know exactly how it's going to turn out. I have an idea in mind, and I just have to kind of see where the brush takes me. And I'm very pleased with how this piece turned out. And my vision is that I'm enjoying the fall woods somewhere, looking out toward that mountainscape. So I'm kind of adding in those birch tree branches and limbs, and then we're going to lay in some fall leaves and just accent this whole scene with the beauty of the fall. I think fall is my favorite season. The season that I love most right behind that is spring. But I love the changing of the leaves. And I know that as they change colors, that it means that they're dying and they're going to fall away. But I have to remember it also means that life will be coming back in the not too distant future. So having shared all that, I'm going to allow you just to enjoy the rest of this video. And I hope you found this to be encouraging. Let me know in the comments. I would love to hear how this painting may have blessed you, what you think. Maybe even tell me, what would you like to see me paint next? I'd love to hear from you in the comments, and I read every one of them, and I'm always so thankful to hear from you and what you think and feel as well. So this process, and thank you for being with me today.